If you didn't know, I decided to read all the New York Times top 100 books of the 21st century, and today we're going to take a look at Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. So a little bit of background. This novel, you can kind of call it a memoir, but essentially it's a letter from the author, Ta-Nehisi Coates, to his son, really documenting his experience as a Black man in America, all of his hopes and dreams and wants for his son. Some bigger themes are this idea of power, and he really breaks down racism and colorism and just the idea that everything in our world is constructed. Everything. So he breaks down this whole idea of why is it that we have race categories to begin with? Why is it that humans decided to separate ourselves in this way? And he decides it's because of power. He says it's because of the need to create a hierarchy. There needs to be those with and those without. It's asks some really beautiful questions, and I think a quote that really describes this novel in general and describes the way that he's unpacking his experience and his place in this world is on page 55. It reads as follows: "Perhaps being named Black had nothing to do with any of this. Perhaps being named Black was just someone's name for being at the bottom, a human turned to object, object turned to pariah." So I think Black can be synonymous with brown, can be synonymous with a religion. If you want to sub that in, maybe Islam. You can essentially use the word Black or make it synonymous with oppression or difference, and I think it's oftentimes an excuse to again put people at the bottom so that you are then at the top. Another overarching theme that was really consistent throughout the novel was this idea of the dream. So what is the dream? You can say it's the American dream, you can say it's the white picket fence, it's the suburbs, it's the safety and the ability to thrive in our economy, in our world. And he really states that as a Black person, you're looking in on that dream, that you see it in the media, you hear that it's accessible, but in reality it feels as if it's its own other world. Another theme that Coates discusses is the emotional stress that is put on the Black body going through this experience. So living this experience and having to constantly be vigilant, having to be hyper aware of your standing actually has physical manifestations. So we know this vis-a-vis the idea of chronic stress. We know that chronic stress relates to a host of adverse consequences: higher blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, a host of other issues that then lead to earlier death. And Coates really argues that this in and of itself is purposeful. So it's written in a language that is transparent and vulnerable and clear and really thought-provoking. So I loved it. It's high up on my list.